Hi, Aquarius, Sun and Aquarius rising. Welcome to your December 2020 Astral Update. It's Rena here. Well, I am one of those astrologers, and there are energy readers as well, who has been touting December 2020 as being this magical time. And, maybe because I'm a Sagittarian and they are prone to exaggerate, perhaps I've gone a little overboard, and I shouldn't do that until we actually are in the month and seeing how it's all shaking out. But I can't help it. I think that all of us are looking for an end of the year that where we go out with a bang. And everything. When I say going out, I mean that we're going to go into 2021 with a bang. And definitely, astrologically, December looks to be a lot lighter. Of course, it's Sagittarius season, and that means that there's an uplifting energy that is present at this time. And it's harmonious to Aquarius, a sextile, which means that you vibe with it very well. You mesh with it very well. As I record this, it is 2 days before a lunar eclipse in Gemini, at 8 degrees of Gemini. And so Gemini is a fellow air sign to you, the one that is right after you, even though, because you're the last air sign. So Gemini is the first air sign. So if you just look at the chart as a continuous circle or cycle, then Gemini falls ahead of you in the 5th house, trines you in the 5th house, which is the house of love and romance, creativity, children, the business that you own. But it's at 8 degrees, so it's possible that this lunar eclipse will be affecting a lot of people actually in the 4th house of home and family. These are general forecasts, so you have to kind of expect a general reading instead of something specifically tailored to you. And so I like to point that out because of for accuracy's sake. So I think the majority of you, it probably will fall in the 4th house, which is a water house and is connected to Cancer in the universal chart, and is about your mother, your roots. It could be quite an emotional time. There could be something from your childhood that you are that is removed from you. But I say that in a good way because it might have been holding you back in some way, Aquarius, whether it's some kind of an event that occurred, a traumatic event that you are now able to kind of really release. And, just things like that. And if you have lived maybe you've lived in your local area or, near your hometown all your life, and, something for a job is taking you elsewhere, who knows? And you are just kind of being a lot more detached and able to like let go of the past for some reason. And this is coming, it's almost like grace that this comes into your life because it's not easy. The 4th house is very sentimental. And for those of you who have it in the 5th house, this could be like some, love at first sight, this sense of realization that somebody is a love partner, maybe like a kind of almost like a past life hit to it. And you see this person and it just kind of washes over you in some way. So as we get into the month of December, we have a lot going on in Sagittarius. And this is that 11th house of hopes and wishes. And this is what I think is quite magical for you, because this is your house. In the universal chart, you rule this house. And this is a social house, your social network, but it is the house of these long-range goals. And on the first of the month, Mercury joins the sun in this house. And this could be really communicating with a lot of friends. Maybe because of the shutdown, you've been a little bit separated from them and not having had a lot of contact. The holiday season is going to bring this out as well. But also, this isn't, unusual, because this is Sagittarius season and Mercury is very close to the sun. So every year the sun goes into Sag in late November, and then you have Mercury somewhere near it, but it doesn't always happen on that particular date. And I think it's significant that Mercury is going on the first of the month. So you might be communicating a lot with friends or the groups that you belong to. On the 14th, there's a solar eclipse at 23 degrees of Sag in this house. So there could be a breakthrough. There could be some kind of new beginnings. Now, there might be new people that you're coming in, you will be coming into contact with, because this is the story for the next year for you, is that you're going to have the area of the 11th house, friendships, groups, so larger groups of people, and also, not just like friends that are your buddies, but also a social network, which could even be connected to career matters. Or if you work for yourself, networking opportunities, but also your long-range goals, that this area is going to be triggered. And also the house of the 5th house, where Gemini will be, and this is the house of love and creativity. So these two areas could be big for you in 2021. And actually in 2021, there's even an eclipse in Taurus, which is that 4th house of home and family. Now, again, because of, I think, the one that's like almost a year from now, so I shouldn't even be talking about it. But the reason I'm bringing it up is because then all of the focus is on that career sector and the 4th house. So maybe this is all about getting all of your ducks in a row, about the things that you want to accomplish, besides your career life. And then it's like the cherry on the top is that your career is also really featured. So on the 15th, the day after that solar eclipse in Sagittarius, we have Venus going into Sag. And this is, this can bring love into your life from the people that you are socializing with, but it can also be money. So if you have launched a business, you may say, hey, why do I even worry about advertising? Why don't I'm such a social creature being an Aquarius. I know so many people as it is. Why don't I just spread the word with my social circle? And it may seem like a no-brainer, but sometimes people kind of separate their work and their social lives. And maybe that's how you are. And yet, that might be something, and especially if you have gone into business for yourself after working in this area for somebody else. Let's say you're working in technology or something along those lines, and you decide to become a consultant. You may have the opportunity to tap into people that you have networked with, professionally. I know in some cases it's not, I don't know about ethical, but it's not something that is, it's something that's frowned upon to try to take, your former employer's clients. So I'm not suggesting you do something like that if that is not okay. But just by virtue of being in that field, you may have made a lot of contacts apart from your specific work environment that you can, inform, or like I said, friendships, or like if you belong to a political organization or whatever, and you may do something along those lines. So money can come from this area with Venus coming into this house, but also romance. And this could even be somebody who is from a different ethnicity background. The 11th house can be maybe like especially socioeconomic group, even somebody that is kind of different from you, but you are still attracted to. On the 17th, I think this is one reason why this is so magical for you, is that you have both Saturn, Jupiter and Saturn going into your sign. Of course, Saturn briefly went into Aquarius earlier this year, but not very long. And you are going to feel so good when Saturn leaves that 12th house, the dark night of the soul. So because this is a general forecast, I can't tell you that on the 17th, when Saturn officially goes back into Aquarius at 0 degrees, obviously, that it's going to leave your 12th house, because it just doesn't work that way unless you follow, the whole signs system or what have you, or whole house system, and you have your sun at 0 degrees of Aquarius, and I suppose maybe this will work for you. But for most people, this is going to be a little bit down the road. But just knowing that it's in your sign may give you a sense of relief, because in the 12th house, when it's been in Capricorn, it's been it might have been quite oppressive and lonely for you these past few years. And I mean, aside from the shutdown, and it might have been really, really challenging you at a core level. If this has been a situation of things just not working out for you and just feeling this frustration about it, just understand that Saturn is the Lord of Karma and the 12th house is the house of Karma. And so this may have been some kind of, I do believe sometimes we are tested. I don't think that it is a form of torture that God is doing to us or anything like that. But testing our mettle means that we are being asked to rise to the occasion. And, in law of attraction, they talk about sending off rockets of desire. When we have contrast coming into our life, that which we don't want, it just stands to reason that being given, that kind of negative reality facing us, it can actually work in our favor, because we can say, wow, I do not want this in my life. And because we are very adamant about that, we can actually will it into existence by, that strong force field giving us what we do want. So at least I'm trying to look at the silver lining in that situation for you. But in any case, now in the first house, Saturn gives you the opportunity to lay down roots when it comes to your life as a whole. Looking at the first house as a kind of a catch-all house of new beginnings and, another cycle. And if this is a Saturn cycle, but also a Jupiter cycle, because Jupiter's coming back into your sign as well, then that can be quite beneficial. For Saturn, it's 30 years. For Jupiter, it's about 12, 13 years. What kind of things do you want to set into motion into your life, Aquarius, that you want to be able to have in a manifested kind of a way, because Saturn is about crystallizing your vision. and bringing it into 3D reality, okay? The first house is the house of the self. So this can really be an anchor for your life. Saturn looks like an anchor, the symbol. On the 19th, Jupiter goes into this first house. So, sometimes they say if Jupiter goes into your first, that you can gain weight, but luckily you have Saturn there to keep you in line. And so Saturn can exert discipline over your physical body, which can be the first house. So I think that they can work together, in tandem in a positive way. Jupiter in the first house can just give you basic expansion in different areas of your life, whatever it is that you want, and maybe make you more positive. And this can be such a relief coming from it being in the 12th house. And then on the 20th, Mercury goes into Capricorn, into that 12th house. And maybe this is a great time to review what having both Jupiter and Saturn in that house has meant for you. Have you gained any spiritual insight? Have you enacted any spiritual patterns or what disciplines in the past few years with Saturn here? Or have you had any luck with teachers in the past year with Jupiter here in the 12th house? Mercury in the 12th can be, it's not going to be very practical communication skills at this time, more intuitive hits and that sort of thing. It can feel a little bit unnerving, maybe vague anxieties, but it's a very quick moving transit, only a few weeks. And then the next day, the event, the winter solstice, northern hemisphere, and we'll just say the change of the seasons, the sun resurrecting itself in the northern hemisphere and dying in the southern, and sun going into Capricorn, and that's in that 12th house, while you have Jupiter and Saturn in conjunction in your first house of the self. And so for those of you in the northern hemisphere, this is especially powerful, as it's like, to me, a sign of the resurrection, your rebirth, because you survived. You should have a t-shirt that says, I survived Saturn in the 12th house. And all I got was this lousy t-shirt? No, I'm not kidding. But yeah, so that's very exciting. So this is, some people think this is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. And it's very self-empowered being in the first house for you. But the conjunction is, they're closer than they have been in centuries. So it's significant on that level. So very powerful for you in terms of yourself and maybe coming back to yourself. And at the same time, having the sun in the 12th house and knowing who you really are at your core. Because, the body is not the self. The first house is your image, is yourself in this lifetime. Your sun sign is not your soul. It's kind of that character you chose to play in this play of life this time around, Aquarius. So, it's not something that doesn't have any kind of importance whatsoever, but by the same token, it isn't your true self either. But in this lifetime, you did come to become an Aquarius. You did come here. If you're Aquarius rising, this is your, this is really your, like, these things may be happening to you, and some of them may have felt unwanted. Saturn in the 12th house may have felt unwanted, but it was part of one of the grand cycles that occur in our lives. On the 21st, on the 29th, we have the full moon at 8 degrees of Cancer. Now, Cancer, for you, this in conjunction is happening, the 6th house. For some of you, a lot of you, this may actually fall in the 5th house. I'm not going to go into that in depth, but because it is an early degree, a lot of you, this may fall in your 5th house. If it does fall in your 5th house, then it could mean falling in love, realizing that you are in love with somebody. If it falls in your 6th house, it could have implications for your job. You might find out some news about your employment. This is at the very, the tail end of the year, so there may be changes with employment. Maybe a promotion. For some people, you might be leaving a job. But the other thing, too, is health matters. Maybe you're going to do something like a detox because, it's coming on the heels of that conjunction in the 1st house. So you might be very focused on your appearance and wanting, and this brings up health matters for you to look at in some way. And so you might be like deciding how you're going to discipline yourself, your body, whether it's with the food that you eat, but especially moving your body, being in the 1st house. Okay, that's what I have for you, Aquarius. All in all, a very important month. And if you would like to look at 2021, look at your natal chart. I do these, and all my readings are on sale at the moment until December 17th. Please click on the link below for more details. Thank you for listening. Take care. Bye.